The Philadelphia Eagles are generating some buzz ahead of the NFL schedule release on Wednesday night, as 4 of their matchups have already been confirmed, including the season opener. So we'll talk about these games and whether or not they are good for the schedule. Also, one undrafted free agent is starting to catch some attention, as people are believing that this could be the next hidden gem at Stoutland University. But I'm thinking of a comparison to an Eagles legend, and it may not be as far-fetched as you think. We'll get into all of it. But welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB, and we started off with our boy Howie Roseman, who was apparently honored last night as the most valuable Philadelphian by the Philadelphia Visitor Center Corporation and Independence Visitor Center. Now, raise your hand if you did not know that this existed. I'm like, what? Zach Berman puts this out. Howie Roseman is just everywhere at all times, and the guy just keeps winning awards. So I'm happy for Howie, man. And shout out to him as the most valuable Philadelphian. Well, I'll tell you, he's definitely the most valuable GM in the NFL, as the guy continues to push all the right buttons. And I'm sure he'll add this to his accolade list and get ready to try to win another one this upcoming season. Speaking of this upcoming season, let's talk about the NFL schedule, because the Eagles games are coming out left and right. We already have almost 1/4 of the schedule confirmed. A couple days ago, we had the season opener confirmed. It'll be Eagles and Cowboys on September 4th, the Thursday opening game. What do we think about that? Honestly, I think it's okay. Like, I'm not too mad at it. I know some Eagle fans were irate. Why aren't we playing the Commanders? Why aren't we playing the Lions? I don't really care who they play and when they play them. I just care about how many days of rest they have, what the overall schedule looks like. Last year, we thought the bye week was a tragedy, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise. During week 5, they revamped their whole offensive system, and we saw what that did. So I'm curious to see how it plays out this year. But Eagles at Cowboys, or Cowboys at Eagles on September 4th, I think it's always nice to start the season with a win. And yes, I am guaranteeing a win because the Cowboys didn't do much to improve at all. We also have Eagles at Packers, a Monday night game on November 10th. So the Eagles will be at Lambeau this season. Eagles against the Bears at the Link on November 28th. Now, look at that. It's a Friday. And if you remember last year, they had a Black Friday game. I think it was at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So it'll be the Bears at the Link taking on the Eagles. I'll be honest, I don't like that at all. I don't like a afternoon Friday game. Maybe it'll be at night, but Friday's just a weird timing thing. Like, these guys get into that mental rhythm during the season. You know, it's already bad that they have to play on Thursday games. But Friday, I don't know. I feel like that kind of throws it off, especially the day after Thanksgiving. And we have a Saturday game in Week 16. It'll be the Eagles at Washington taking on the Commanders. So usually there are a couple Saturday games at the end of the season. This year, the Eagles will partake in that. And if I'm being honest, I think they'll probably have about 3 or 4 more primetime games. So it's going to mirror a couple seasons ago when they had all those primetime games. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of having half the schedule filled with primetime, but at the end of the day, I think these are a little bit wonky, and I hope the other ones are at least on Sunday nights or Monday nights, so, you know, they're not always playing on 3 or 4 days rest. I'm just not a big fan of the Thursday games, but those are my thoughts. I don't care who they're playing. There are a lot of good opponents this year, but based on what we saw from the Eagles last year, based on what they've done this offseason, I think they can be another 12, 13, 14, 15 win team. Like, I'm not afraid of anybody. This team is really good. I'm really excited about this team, and I can't wait to see the full schedule on Wednesday night. But let's transition it and talk about one undrafted free agent player that is catching people's attention. Now, I hadn't talked about the UDFAs at all. They were signed right after the NFL draft. There's so many names flying around. It's hard to keep track of all these guys. But one guy who I'm hearing a lot about is Hollin Pierce. He's a left tackle out of Rutgers, 6'8", 350 pounds approximately, and he was a former walk-on. And let me just show you this video clip. Like, this guy is a beast. Look at him. The guy looks like a giant. He looks like an absolute mammoth. He is a beast. Ladies and gentlemen, Rutgers tackle Hollin Pierce is an absolute unit. 6'7" 3/4 inches, 342 pounds. He was a 455-pound walk-on when he arrived at Rutgers. He went to high school in Virginia at an academy, and he started 50 out of 51 games for Rutgers since 2021. His arms and his wingspan are in the 99th and 97th percentiles, respectively, and this guy is just huge. Now, I don't like the Dallas Cowboys shirt. We can fix that up, but the Eagles knew that they were going to have a chance to get this guy. That's probably why they didn't draft him, because what I did was I went back and I looked at his draft profile, and they had him actually slated as a 5th-round projected pick. So there was definitely interest, right? But for some reason, this guy went undrafted. He's from Trenton, New Jersey, went to Rutgers. And like I said, he went to an academy in Virginia. But 6'8", they have him listed as 341. His arms are huge. His hands are huge. And when I started to dive into this a little bit more, I mean, they have a lot of good things to say about this guy. Really, he just didn't grade out that well. As you can see, his production score was 21st. He has great measurables. He has great traits, but he's a big dude, you know, so he's going to get beat around the edge by some of these smaller defensive ends. And, you know, it's going to be hard for him to shuffle his feet and not click his heels and just have that good technique. But if there's one place where you need to come in and refine your form and improve your technique, well, who is it? It's our boy, Jeff Stoutland, right? Jeff Stoutland has had Pro Bowlers for 11 straight years, 25 plus Pro Bowl players, and 13 of them with all-pro honors. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Stoutland, I've said this for months now, should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, he should be one of the assistant coaches that finally get to go into the Hall of Fame because of how good he is. And when it comes to this guy, he's a project. This is a guy that you bring into Jeff Stoutland's office, and he's going to sit there with a big grin and a big smile, like when they drafted Miles Hinton, and he's going to say, bring it on. Let me go to work with this guy. This guy redshirted in 2020. Then he played all 13 games in 21 with 12 starts at right tackle. Started 12 more games at right tackle in 22. He was an honorable mention All Big Ten Conference in 23, and then a second team All Big Ten in 2024. Rare combination of size and length, great discipline, above average hand placement, and he has mass, he has length. Effective use of length allows him to redirect the leaky rushers. Really, again, he's just got to get a little bit quicker if he can. Of course, heavy-legged and gets overextended sometimes, a little more lean than Ben. That all makes sense based on his traits. But, I mean, why not bring him in as an undrafted free agent? Why not give him a chance? And you know who he reminded me of? He reminded me of this guy who was undrafted, 20 years ago now? Wow, it's crazy, man, how long it's been. Jason Peters, 43 years old. He was an undrafted free agent signed by the Buffalo Bills, and he is now retired again, but he made 9 Pro Bowls, 7 as an Eagle, 2-time All-Pro, both as an Eagle. He won the Super Bowl in 2017, or he got hurt, but he was a big part of that run, and he ended up being an Eagles legend, one of the best in franchise history. Now, please do not get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that Hollin Pierce is going to develop into Jason Peters. I'm not, comparing him to that or setting that standard or that expectation for him. But Jason Peters, although he was, shifted to a tight end and he was kind of doing offensive line drills and trying to go into the draft and was going to be a late round pick, ended up going undrafted. Hollin Pierce was projected to be a 5th-round pick, and through all of it, he just continued to learn the position better, got in better shape, and continued to mold out his career as one of the best offensive linemen for the Philadelphia Eagles in quite some time. So, Jason Peters, Hollin Pierce, do you see any comparisons? Let me know down below. And honestly, I'll give you an even better comparison as I take it to an article over here on SportsIllustrated.com by Patrick McAvoy. He compares Hollin Pierce a little bit better to Jordan Mailata. I mean, think about that, right? The Eagles drafted these linemen late in the draft this year. They had 3 in their last 5 picks. But even go back several years, Jordan Mailata was a last-round pick, right? And look at what he's developed into, probably the best left tackle in all of football, or at least one of them right now. Hollin Pierce has great size at 6'8" and 341 pounds, and Mailata is listed as 6'8" and 365 pounds. So again, there definitely is some comparables there. It says Pierce had only 2 sacks allowed, more than 800 pass blocking snaps from 2023 to 2024. So again, the production is there. It's just really about, can he stay in good shape? Can he translate? And I think Jeff Stoutland would have a lot of fun with this project. Another article over here on Philly Voice from Jeff Mosher. I think he makes a couple big points as well about some undrafteds that found their way on the Eagles roster. TJ Edwards, Jack Stoll, Reed Blankenship, other guys like that. But think about some of this right here. There's no question that Rutgers' product has some desirable traits for O-line coach Jeff Stoutland, especially with Pierce's staggering 6'8", 344-pound frame and 88.25-inch wingspan. If there's one kind of offensive lineman that Stoutland covets, it's a humongous one. This year's draft was especially deep at the offensive tackle, 8 going in the first 55 picks. So if you think about that, I mean, there was a lot of depth, and that is going to naturally cause guys to fall. Think about what he did with Mekhi Becton last year, who he moved inside to guard, and he became one of the best guards in the NFL. Think about what he's done with Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson and all these other guys that are mentioned here. So at the end of the day, man, I'm really excited about this guy. Pierce committed just 4 penalties in his entire collegiate career. He has a lot of upside, and could he potentially end up being a steal out of all of these undrafted free agents? I guess time will tell, but the Eagles continue to find and develop talent. So give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. As always, appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.